Hello. Welcome back to live number 7. I shouldn't have started with a statement that I actually had to know I was telling the truth with on a day where my brain's not working. 7.
Yeah, no, 7. 7.
I apologize in advance if I don't hear you properly because my hearing is still a mess. It's great fun. Everything is echoey. We came out of Tesco and I thought Richie asked me what row I'd parked on, like what row are you on? And it turned out he said, "Oh, the snow is on." And I was like busy describing where I'd parked, and he just looked at me and he went, "Woman, you're deaf." And I was like, "Uh-huh." He was like, "But what did you say?" I was like, "You asked me what row I parked in." And he was like, "No, I said the snow is on." And I was like, "Oh, at least row and snow sound similar." Like, I have been very wrong with statements in the past. But I'm too far away for you to see. But we are doing the live show for Shadow Study. I'm too far away, but I can't put my headphones on, so I'm dealing. Which is the first of the third trilogy, going back to Yelena, and having multiple POVs this time. I should probably start by saying, if you haven't read this, please don't spoil yourself. Watch it back when you've caught up. We will be spoilery, but not for the future, because as I have mentioned 1,001 times, I don't remember what happened. Everything that I remember has now happened, so I genuinely have no idea what happens in Night or Dawn. Absolutely none.
We're experiencing this together now.
Yeah, I haven't read these books in well over a decade, so who knows? Who knows? Vicky messaged me after the end and was like, "Please tell me the next one doesn't have as much of a cliffhanger." And I was like, "I don't know. You think I remember?"
To be honest, I don't even remember the end of the book. I don't remember what happens at the end. It's the cliffhanger.
The last 3 words is like, "I'm pregnant" or something.
Oh, yeah, that's 2 words.
I can't remember.
Oh, I knew that was going to happen. I knew that was going to happen at the start of the book.
Yep.
Like, she mentioned that they mentioned they mentioned the whatever the frig it's called to stop her from getting pregnant. And he was like, "Remember, you need to take it on this specific date." And I was like, so you've mentioned it predominantly and it's never going to come up again because she's going to have forgotten it. Like, it's not, it's a very, I mean, it's not like, I'm not dissing Maria or anything like that. It's a
No,
very common thing. And the
but
more romance I'm reading, the more like
the only twist in any of her books that I've actually picked up and gone, "Oh, I think this is a thing." Like, I think this will be a thing. Because I don't normally pick up on anything. Like, I will hold my hands up. I read books and I don't actually pay enough attention to notice what shit's going on. But
yeah, the minute you mentioned the thing, I was like,
I'd forgotten that happened by the time I got to the end of the book and was like, "Oh yeah." Yeah. I was more like Vicky because it took me a while and I read the first half and then had a few days and then read the second half like Vicky did. So I picked up on it at the start, but I'd forgotten about it until we got closer to the end. What are you doing?
"Am I delayed on your end?"
No?
I'm like, when you used to do that old thing on Windows when like stuff would start messing up and the mouse would have like all the
Yes.
scaling after it. That's what's happening. I can see like a trail of hands.
That's ace.
Oh well, as long as I'm
I
not
think that would
delayed. Like
make me really
you're
dizzy.
fine. I'm delayed on my screen for some reason.
I can't see it, but um Vicky, you be the decider. Is there an issue? But we skipped literally to the end. So I really do hope there
Yeah.
was nobody here that hadn't taken my warning.
If you hadn't taken the word, it's your own fault.
What did you guys rate it? Did you enjoy being back with Yelena / having different POVs?
This is my favorite one so far. I'm gonna have to check my ratings on Storygraph. This is my favorite one so far, like hands down. So, like, it was so much smoother. Like, it was the least clunky and tropey and like obvious. Because I
Yeah.
feel like the other ones, like there was a lot of stuff that happened that was obvious. I give it 5 stars on finally got a 5 star. But yeah, this is my favorite by far. Like I liked it was so weird seeing like I still like my brain still can't age up Opal properly.
Yeah.
So it's so weird seeing like Opal older and
So Becca
yeah.
messaged me once she'd read it. Also, if you hear anything falling, it's Rollo. Gonna put that out there now because he's falling and rummaging in amongst bags. So just heads up. Becca messaged. I don't know if she's popping in tonight or not, but she also rated this 5 stars and said it was her favorite book so far out of all 7.
Mhm.
It is also a 5 star for me. I love having Janko's POV. Like that gremlin of a man. I love him so much. He's such a chaos gremlin.
Mhm.
And having Valak's POV and Jelena's and having like that split timeline so you see what they're all doing. It's really
Yeah.
interesting. What I think made Rollo. Oi! Psst. He's sitting on books while trying to put jelly tots off a box. Yes, you. Sorry. I think this is what made her think, actually, what did Valak do in the first trilogy? Because she
Yeah.
had such fun writing this and instantly knowing. But while she was writing, I think it was Fire or maybe Magic, she said there was this massive chunk of time where they weren't together and he just knew at the end what was going on. And she was like, but how? How, Maria? How did he know this? So I think doing it this way and having them instantly like find stuff out together was probably better for her sanity.
Yeah.
But I haven't read Study of Magic or Study of Fire yet. So I've read 2 of the other books, but most of it is just a reread at this point and brand new information because my brain does not know this. So at the start of this one, actually, did any of us read the short story? Because I did not.
I did not.
And I don't think Vicky did either. So basically, I'm not going to spoil anything because we can read it for the first time when we do the Chronicles because it's in there. But essentially, it is about what happened with Owen and Ben Moon, if I remember correctly. Like it is what introduces them. So when you start reading this, you know who they are.
Yeah, I figured that.
I forgot about the short story. Yeah, so did I. But basically, some of her European translations have the short story at the front of this, so you read that and then go into it because that's how you were meant to read it. I honestly could not tell you if 13-ish years ago if I did it the right way around. I have no idea. I would be lying. But it's fine because it's in Chronicles. We will get there, and we will read it and discuss it as we go. It's fine. It is fine. So at the start, we find out they bought a house that's like around about halfway-ish between like both of their places that they need to be so that if they get short times, they can go and have a little cute cottage. But obviously she gets attacked straight off the bat. And we realize that Valak's probably going to make them move, let's face it. Which is sad because they've finally found a cottage together. And it makes me so sad.
Also, we don't actually find out who attacked her, do we?
No, because is it not that we find out the mosquitoes after her, but then they also find out that everybody else knows she's like got less power than normal or like no protection, so everybody that could be after her is after her. So pretty much we get to the end of this book and I'm sure it's the mosquito that was after her first, and then there was a set.
Oh, by the way, the all this,
Is this Honora?
this
Yeah, Honora.
yeah, that annoyed me. Like, what is the commander up to? Like, is there something going on? Like, what?
I don't know. I really
Or
wish
is
I
he
remember.
just like a selfish man-child that doesn't trust Valak now that he, like, it's like, well, you can't pay 100% attention to me, so I'm going to be an arsehole.
Yeah, because it's really
Like,
annoying. Because for part of me, is like it's really cool that Honora managed to get the training and like, um, he has somebody that he can maybe train up so that he can step back. This, that, and the next thing. Like we all know that Ari and Janko don't want to be sitting doing paperwork, and Marin would hate it. Like second in command is not the same as in command. So I hope
I'm
they
also very suspicious of Marin right now.
yeah. Like I honestly I honestly only read this a few days ago, like last week maximum. And I have so many questions and no actual statements, which is really bad. Yeah, Valak asked her and she says it was her and he said her. So obviously in this book we meet Honora, who for the first time we meet her, she scales into the castle and pretends to attack the commander as if they're only just meeting on the day that Valak returns, which is suspicious enough in and of itself. But we then find out that everything that he's set in place, all of his different guards have been rearranged. There's so many ways to sneak in and out of the castle now. We find out that Ari and Janko don't know where Marin is, and vice versa. The commander's keeping loads of secrets. I'm like you, I don't believe for a second that he doesn't know what he's doing. Or maybe he doesn't know what he's doing. Like we know in the first trilogy, he was getting not poisoned, but like mentally swayed. I don't know. I cannot remember. And like Smash has an amazing poker face and can remember shit in the Mass Lives, and I just genuinely have the crappiest answers for you because I don't remember. Which is probably actually
in the first trilogy it was a Theobroma.
Yeah.
It was being manipulated with. Or the Theobroma was being used to allow him to be manipulated by magic. And now it seems like he's trying to it seems like he's growing up to try and get rid of magic, or like, even though he's also like the one, even though like there's trade and there's all this, and then why would he send Valak or get Valak to try and find out who is like how they're trading on the black market? Like, I'm so confused. Obviously, we'll hopefully get answers later on, but like it's setting up for like just people are acting not like themselves, and it's really weird.
Yeah. I wish I could remember. Like, I genuinely can't. And I said to Vicky the other day that at least, because I think Vicky finished it on Tuesday and I finished it on Saturday, maybe? And I was like, at least once we've had the live, we can read the next one. But if I read the next one this week, there's no chance I'm remembering it for next month. I can hardly remember it within a week. It doesn't help that my brain's as fucked this week as it is, but like I'm gonna have to wait until next week, until next month. There's no way I can remember. I can't read it this week because I will not remember come next month. I need to write notes. I haven't written notes for a live.
This book feels like a setup for me. Like, it's setting up for like the other two books, but it's like it's not setting it up in a really obvious way. Like, that's not what I mean. Like, obviously it's setting up in a really obvious way. Like, it's obviously setting up for something, but you know how you get books that are set up books and that is all they do and they do nothing else, and there's no other plot, there's no other, they're literally just setting things up. Whereas this is setting up in a way where, because of the plot that is also going on at the same time, you get to the end and you're like, oh my god, I need to read the next book.
Yeah. But also,
because
I think
she's lining up so well.
like not the multiple timelines, like the multiple POVs as well. Like, yes, Valak and Yelena are together at the end because obviously she realizes that she's pregnant. But like,
The fact that everybody's ribbing her as well about them not being engaged, it's like, leave it alone.
I really wish my brain was more with it today. What did you think of Honora? Like, both as a little assassin as we started to get to know her, and then as we kind of found out about her towards the end. With all the secrets.
It's weird because there are parts about where like all right, she's on like our side, but like when she's in the tree with Janko and Yelena, and it's like, okay, maybe she's actually on side. But then there's other times where I'm like, I don't trust her.
Yeah, especially since she went to the same assassin school as Valak did, and the fact that she killed. Okay, like we learn a lot about Valak's history in this one, and it's one of my favorites for the fact that Valak gets sidetracked, like in the middle of trying to read reports, and just thinks back to shit that reminds him of what he's doing, and you suddenly find out like how the king's guards picked on his brothers and they all died. And then you find out that that's why he wanted to become an assassin. And you find out that the way of training was that you got basically 10 days to learn something. And then it was like 10 days to learn the next thing. And the fact that he didn't really have a friend. I don't think friend is the right term for Arvin. Arbin. Hedda and Arbin. The fact that, you know, they were consistently against each other and they both wanted to outsmart each other and they both went through that situation, I don't think it necessarily leads itself to friendship. But I also don't think it doesn't lead to friendship when that's as close as friendship as you get.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that makes any sense because, as I said, my brain is really not working.
It's almost like a mutual respect sort of scenario.
Yeah. And the fact that Honora killed Hedda and Hedda took the pair of them in out of the rain. Well, I don't know if she took Arbin out of the rain, but she literally took Valak out of the rain and said, you know, like, as a mocking King Killer, and then actually became grudgingly respecting King Killer. And when you hear about what the king did, like, I know in the first one, obviously, you learn about the fact that the commander and Valak did this takeover and that they killed the king and they killed the family and that it was all very one and done. Everybody in this family died, which is horrific. But when you realize how much, like, families were dying just because they wanted to kill somebody to prove that you needed to pay your taxes. Like, it wasn't a good place to be. They were the same as Ixia in some aspects. They still had like kids on the streets. They didn't have money. They didn't have food. They didn't get clothes. And this way, yes, okay, the commander is a very black and white personality, but they have jobs. They get clothes. They have food. Everybody does their part and everybody gets a fair portion of the cake at the end. I don't know. I hope that's an analogy that works because it's where my brain went. I love cake. Why did I not buy cake when I was in Tesco's? Sad. Because obviously, as we remember from the first book, the second one, when Yelena goes into the city and meets Fisk, who is in this book a lot, obviously she couldn't believe that there was beggars because in Ixia there just isn't.
Ixia, there's none. Yeah.
And it's such a cool comparison to me how that not free will, but like the tribal aspect versus the military aspect, and like that free will versus you will do ABC, and how you will do ABC isn't always bad. Yes, it can be. Like dictatorships, we all know are shit, but like,
yeah, when it's somebody who's got like no sort of actual moral code.
Yeah, but I feel like the Commanders is actually pretty good. And like, yes, we find out that he wants to kill all magicians, but Valak has managed to sneak, I'm assuming, a fair few, or at least help people get away. I'd like to imagine. Because like
Although
if
now is he
he
working
get away
with?
and came into the country and wasn't found, surely people can go the other way.
But now that
Oh,
he's got that drug that can take away magic, like what?
I know.
Like I just don't understand where his head's at, like what he's doing, like because he's starting to almost. He's just not acting like the commander.
Also, the
But
fact that
is it
the
like a power corrupt idea or?
but were the council also not having like anti-magicians at them in? And that's the fucking
Yeah.
council. Like
Oh, the
everything in the
council can get dead.
topsy-turvy. And I don't know how. Also, I know that I'm really jumping all over the place and I do apologize. But how cute is Rima in this book? Do you not just love her?
She's an absolute nightmare child.
She seems like me as a kid. I love her so much. And the fact that I know the actual Rima that like she's based off of, and her hair is literally in blonde corkscrews, is just like she's not young now, obviously. She's an adult, and she was just in Beauty and the Beast. Because Maria was with her after like us when she went down south. But it's just so cute. I can just imagine it. She's going to be an absolute nightmare when she gets to the keep, though. When the two of them are there, because we didn't really see Tegan in this, because obviously Tegan's already at the keep. But I'm assuming we'll see him in the next two, surely.
Mm-hmm.
I say this as if
I mean,
I don't know. You're like, if you don't remember, bitch, I don't know.
But yeah, I'm not even ready yet. I am so excited to like read these though, and it's so nice. Like the everything feels not older. That's not what I mean, but more grown up, more.
I mean, they are.
No, but that's not what I mean.
Writing-wise or character-wise?
More sophisticated. Like the story feels more sophisticated.
Yeah.
Than like the first books, which were like very, very much YA fantasy. Like this feels like there's more going on.
I have a thought, and I can't remember if it's in the front of this book or not. I think it's one of the things that's in the front of this book. Also, the glow up of the new map is just so pretty. I really want a picture of it for in here. Right, so in this one, Yelena's 27 now.
I don't mean their ages. I mean the
No, I
storytelling.
know, but my brain just couldn't remember. Ari's 30.
Yeah, Violet's like 40 something, 41.
41. Ari's 36, and Janko's 34.
Ooh.
And Ambrose is 48 because he's only 7 years older. I love that it also has Fisk, Opal, Devlin, Tegan, and Rima, and I won't mind mentioning any of them now because you know that they're all main characters. So Fisk in this one is 17. Opal's 21, Devlin's 26, Tegan's 13, and Rima's 10. It was what I was trying to remember. I just couldn't remember what the age of the kids was. Yeah. Oh, I almost lost my mouse. Right, so I'm trying to think what actually happened. Did you like Leaf any better in this one?
Actually, I think this one made me like him less again. You'll never make me like him. No one will ever make me like that boy.
Oh, Leaf.
But like, I liked Mara more.
I love Mara. Also, the fact that when she tells Mara, she was like, "Thank you for trusting me because I'm always in the dark," and I was like, "Oh,
Yeah. Like, and Mara didn't even tell Leaf.
I know."
Like, Mara's a real. I love Mara. She is like questionable choice in men, but you know, some of our best friends have questionable choice in men, and Leaf is at least better than that. But yeah, no, I really, really like Mara. I'm starting to like Iris more again, like Iris and Bane.
Yeah,
I really want to know what's going on with Victoria. I know I sent you a message saying that, oh, what's her name? The assassin. Oh no,
Honora,
not the assassin. Mara. No.
Aaron.
Mara? Marin. My God. I had like a suspicion that Marin might be Victoria's sister.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
I don't think that anymore, but maybe the assassin. No, I don't. That's not how it should be. Did we ever get to find out? Like, Victoria's off doing. Did she come back? Like, did we find out?
I don't know if we
I
find
would like
out,
to
but
know.
I'm 90% sure she at least appears on page somewhere again. But I honestly can't remember if it's in a short story or if it's in the main story. And I could be completely lying, but I'm pretty sure.
Mm.
Because that's too big a thing to not fill in, I feel.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find the name of the other guy who becomes their crew. Like it's Ari, Janko, Honora, and the guy,
Skippy.
Skippy. But I can't think
Is
of
it
his
Skippy
name.
though?
No, Skippy's the guy that followed Opal.
That's Grunt.
I don't know. Leaf annoys me more than Dave.
Don't have anybody because I'm not doing
Um, where the fuck is it? So obviously we end up with Ari and Janko going one way, and they went to go try and find out what was happening. And Janko saw that there was the fake tunnel entrance thing.
Secret tunnel.
Yeah, that. And
I love, by the way, his ear thing.
yep,
Like,
he's
I
so
know
clever.
he used to
Like,
always say he's allergic to magic, and I thought it was just him being snidey, but like, no, actually, like he
yeah,
has a reaction to magic.
I love him. I love Janko so much.
I
Um,
do like when Leaf finds or sees Helena again, and he's like, "What's wrong?" And it's like, "Stop doing that. It's creepy." Yeah, it does start with G.
Garrett,
Garrett? Yeah,
that sounds
terrible.
right. Garrick,
Close enough.
Garrick, Garrick. Oh, Garrick. Did Janko report in? Ari said, "Not yet. Should we be worried?" Depends. If he's found nothing, he won't bother to send a message, and if he's hot, then he won't have time. I think it's too soon to worry. Besides, your girl is quite capable of handling herself. She's not mine. Um,
Oh yeah, I I'm not gonna lie. I know, like I quite like. I love being in Valak's head. I love seeing Valak's point of view. The fact that he found out that one of the officers was abusing his position, and he went there and he was like, "Well, now you're gonna have to deal with me." And he's like sitting there with his dagger, like, "Do I castrate him now, or do I take him back first?" Do you know
I
what? It would have been even funnier if he dressed up as her and just like pretended to be in the bed, waiting for him to like, and then he'd be
yeah,
like, "I,
I
I love
really
Valak."
actually liked the whole scene, both of us finding out as he slowly killed the people who killed his brothers, but then like as he learned how to do hair, and then learned how to like infiltrate, and
Because
then
he does
it,
Helena's hair in the first book.
yeah, but finding out like how he got that and like how he learned that information and how he used it is great. I love it so much. And then it's really interesting to me, or it was interesting, I don't know, whichever way it goes, how he killed the queen first, even though it was the kick that he really needed. He was like, I can get to her.
Hamish.
Although, what are you doing?
Our animals are just playing up today.
Do they not know our brains are already not working? That bag is going to fall on you. And I will laugh. Sorry, he's like over where your bed, like below mattress thing normally sits. Okay, so I can't remember if I remember it right, so I'm not going to answer this question. Wow. Show off. But I want you and Vicky to answer it. When she had no magic, or she still has no magic, what do you think is causing it? Because
I thought it was
decide if it's the if it's the dart, if it's the venom in the dart, if something else has happened. Like, she's been sick, she had the hot flushes, the cold flushes. Like, that was right at the start of the book, and we're 400 pages in, and she's still not fucking got her magic back. And I'm like, I can't remember.
Yeah, well, I mean, it sounds like it should be it should, like, the Moon Man's dad, which, by the way,
I forgot about him. I love him.
Just absolute dagger to the heart, that one. Absolute dagger to the heart. I love Moon Man. I miss Moon Man.
I love Moon Man's dad as well.
That's a death. Like, can we normalize killing off Leaf for Moon Man? Like, we'll swap them. But yeah, Moon Man's dad, that was really sad. That made me really sad.
Ooh. I think it has something to do with her pregnancy.
I thought it might have something to do with her pregnancy.
Herself
part of it, like, it's hard because I don't know, like, I don't know if that would be too soon.
Yeah, because I had a feeling it might have been something like that at the start, but then she said that she wasn't due the moon potion yet, and then they got together, and then it was instantly after that.
Yeah,
I was
and
like,
after I think it's something to do with the drug, but maybe she's not getting her magic back because, like, that took her magic away and originally, and now she's suppressing it.
Yeah, or I really can't remember. So if this is actually right, this will be a miracle. What if it's Valak's immunity? Like, the baby is something, like, it's not Yelena suppressing it. It's
that was going to be my next suggestion.
I genuinely don't remember. So if this is right, this is hilarious.
Also,
Vicky's comment.
This actually, but maybe this is just because Maria did not want to answer the question that I'm about to pose.
Was it?
So she decided to block Yelena's power. As a soul finder, she is aware of people's souls, which would mean she should be aware of the baby's soul inside of her.
Ooh.
So then that begs the question of, like, in this world, when the baby, because, like, there's so many different world views as to when babies, like, gain their soul or gain their personhood, like, because she would have been able to detect it because of the soul, or did the soul only enter when she gives birth or at a certain point, or
we've all just kind of taken Vicky's thought and just rolled with it. I honestly cannot remember. Like, I'm so excited to read this last section. Like, 1 to 6 I remembered quite well because I've read them multiple times, but I've only read this trilogy once. So I'm not the best, as you can tell.
But like if I was a writer and I was writing something that was like that sort of controversial, I might just block my character's power as well.
Especially something like this power.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I'm gonna have to message her and be like, by the way, quest. No, I'll wait until after we read the next one to see what we if we get answers, and then I'll send a message because I don't want to give myself like spoilers because I don't remember it enough. What do
But then
you
she
see?
might not, because she's not just what, it's not like Leaf though. Her powers aren't kind of like Leaf, which is walking about like, you've got a soul, you've got a soul, you've got a soul. Has to actually focus on it.
Yeah,
So she probably wouldn't be able to like, but that's another, like, I think it was like the whole two souls in the one body thing. It kind of like thought, because
yeah.
obviously
That's what
Ambrose
at
has
the start of this again.
two souls for a very similar reason. Then
Yeah,
his mum died in childbirth.
I did not think of that at all. That's a really cool take on it. Do you have any ideas what you think is coming up in the next one? Like with the cigars, with the karate, with the hothouse, that they are doing their own like Elias jungle type equivalent in a greenhouse. They're calling it a hothouse, but it's basically a greenhouse.
Yeah, I just want to, I'd be like, go tell Yelena's dad and just let him have at.
Yeah, I think if all of the Zoltanas came with their machetes, they get it like done really, really quickly.
Yeah. But for me, if there's one, there's probably more. I think they're going to have to gird themselves to just go into this new world with all these new weapons because that's how life kind of works and how technology works. Like us discovering nuclear weapon or creating nuclear weapons and stuff, like there's no going back. And there's going to be no going back for these like concoctions that they're coming up with. So like magicians now have like in this world, magicians have always been sort of there's been a power imbalance, and the only reason that the magicians kind of haven't become dictators due to their morality and their personalities, although we have seen pockets of that, like with the ones
Rose,
by the what on in the cult thing.
blood rose, blood
Yeah,
rose.
the Blood Rose clan. Yeah, because it's Joe Rose and Bloodgood.
Yeah,
Like we have seen magicians who've done it, but like the master magicians seem to, and I don't know if the master magicians are picked based on some like overcrowded, like overhead level of morality. Because when saying that, Rose obviously,
yeah,
but like magicians have always been like more powerful than the regular people, and so now the regular people have something that evens up that
yeah.
thing.
Especially
But
with
the
the null
problem with
shield. etc.
the problem with like that sort of thing is that for so long the kind of regular people were the powerless people were kind of underneath the magicians, and that builds resentment. And so now
Yeah,
instead of it just evening them off, it's creating this imbalance because like with the council and stuff like that, they're actually becoming more aggressive towards the magicians.
yeah. Especially when a lot of
So
magicians are just like one trick wonders, or like
yeah,
they can maybe do like Dax is really good at languages,
yeah.
but like Opal's good with
And I mean,
black.
look at they wanted
But
to kill Opal and Yelena for their powers, and the irony that they wanted to kill Opal for her powers for being able to siphon, and now they're just like, oh, let's create a dog that can do that anyway.
yep.
Hypocrites. Hypocrites.
I am really glad that you're enjoying this series, though. I have wanted to mention for so long, like, because I know that you were worried about going back, and I wanted to tell you for so long that it was multiple POV, but I didn't want to spoil the surprise because I remember when I opened this book the first time, one of the few things I remember about it was being so excited to get a Janko chapter, and I didn't
Mm.
want to take that away from anyone. Um, like I loved that surprise of this new trilogy being with like multiple POVs, and I just wouldn't have taken that away from anyone if I could help it.
I also quite like the fact that Valak is a lot more
I feel like personally he's got more personality.
yeah, like although he's like really stoic and really controlled on the outside, the inside's kind of just like panic stations all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like this is probably one of our shortest lives we've ever done, but my brain is literally head empty, no thoughts.
I mean, it's a short book, and like I say, it's a setup. I obviously, as well, we've got the whole thing with Ben's brother. I can't remember his name now.
Owen,
Owen.
who is
He's
not
gotten
dead.
away, so it means he'll
What?
come back.
Willow really needs to have like a whole proper fucking look at itself, because Opal made like a taunt that she would get in there, and I was expecting them to have better fucking security by now. Like the prison in Fulgur.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Um,
true. But like, he obviously got away, so he'll be back at some point.
yes, he will be.
And I would really like to see Moonman's dad again. Can't remember what his
I'm
name
trying to
is.
find the name. So far, flipping through the book has done me a world of good. I've managed to find quite a few names. It's when you see it's a Jank or a Valak chapter, and I'm like, no, pop on. Lana, sand seeds. Oh, I've got sand seeds. Hazia, Dawnwood, Whirl, Hale. No, that's not right. Hale was the guy that Leaf went to school with.
That was Skippy.
That was Skippy. Yep. Um, I did love Opal having to catch Rima to try stop her like running away from school though. And then Devlin just being like, oh, kids. Nope. Next chapter. Although I would like to point out the chapters in this were really short, and I just read King of Kuraha by her, and it was 24 to 27 page chapters. Maria, what are you doing to me? It took so long. Oh, here we go. Stop. Oh, for fuck's sake. Cliffhanger. Hold on. Skip Valak. Skip
I know.
Drago.
See, every time I did that, I was like, "No."
Kiki.
There was one chapter. I'm not gonna lie. There was one chapter where the cliffhanger was actually so like bad, and I knew I couldn't continue reading. That I skipped to that person's point of view again just to get an answer, and then went back. I needed to know, and I can't remember what chapter it was. But there was one cliffhanger on one of the POVs that was actually so bad that I had to go. I had to go to the chat back like to their next chapter and find out.
I love
Just
that.
skip the other POVs for a second, just to like read the first page and just get the.
He was Midnight Sun, and he named his son Moon, and then he added this man on the end. So Midnight Sun had Moon, who became Moon Man. Because actually, this conversation is interesting with us talking about it. So
Sanseed being cryptic as.
yeah, do you know what happened to my magic? Yes, and it is blocked like a null shield. No. How is my magic blocked? It just is. You said it was unlike a null shield. Can you explain? A null shield blocks magic from both directions, while this only prevents you from using magic. However, you are invulnerable to magic for now. What is this? A poison magic, a virus, a one-way null shield? You don't know. You're not going to tell me, are you? I can tell you this. You will figure this out, Soulfinder. When the time is right. Did you teach your son how to be cryptic, or is that an inborn trait for story weavers? Inborn, we guide, but we do not provide easy answers. I'm very familiar with that annoying aspect of your personality. Sorry. This has all been overwhelming.
So I came here for answers, not this.
I thought I lost Moon Man. What are you doing to me, Midnight? Like, leave me alone. But
I
yeah.
remember thinking it was really funny that his name was Midnight Sun because that's obviously the name of Stephanie Meyer's Twilight Edward fish.
This was
And then,
our
of
first.
course, my brain started going, he was sunshine, I was midnight. So here I am as a person.
I have.
Hope we see him more.
I don't think I've.
I like Midnight. I love the Sanseeds. I think the Sanseeds are my favourite. Do you know what hurt me the most, right? Do you know what hurt me the most about Yelena losing her powers?
That she just got them fucking back. Well, she hadn't. It was
No,
years ago. But
that she can't speak to Kiki anymore. We don't get Kiki's it. We don't get Kiki's thoughts anymore.
But you can still get Kiki's thoughts from the way she looks at her and the way she like huffs at her and looks at her and like Kiki.
I also love the fact that they send Rima away with just Kiki, and it's like it's cool, Kiki will protect her.
Yeah,
nobody's messing with Kiki.
and it's like you're Kiki, go take her to Ghost and just take her and two people that are obviously fucking City right into the heart of Ixia. It's fine. And then it's like they call him to the gate and it's like, yeah, come on, and you come, and she just jumps over the gate, and it's like, yeah, we're not bothering opening.
Yelena's horse is here. What do you mean the horse? Is Yelena not with the horse?
No, but she's got visitors, and it's like, okay, let's go.
Kiki's like, I'm waiting on this side of the fence out of pure like politeness. So
I love her so much. Assuming Vicky is still here, she hasn't commented. That's why I haven't put any comments up. But do you have anything else you want to comment? Anything else you think is going to happen? Anything you want to see? Anyone you want to see come back other than Midnight Sun? Because we've just said that. Vicky, any theories that you can be arse typing? Somewhere you're on your phone.
I would also like them to go back to Fulgur.
Yeah, I want to see Nick and Eve again. I love Nick and Eve.
Oh yeah, I love Nick and Eve.
I hope we see Yelena's parents again because we're back in like Yelena's side of the family, not Opal's. I mean, I know they're all like one big family.
Her mom's gonna absolutely lose it when she finds out she's pregnant.
Right? Can you
imagine?
imagine?
Right? What if I was the number one person I would go to with problems when it comes to like plant life and drugs and stuff like that is her dad.
Why has she not gone there? Why has she not gone?
I cannot remember his name.
Esu. Eso.
Yeah. It's like go speak to him. He's the one you need.
Go see Dad.
Or
like, why have you not? I know that you were brought up like you got stolen and you had a horrible childhood and like your parents are not maybe your number one go-to, but like dads are good people generally speaking. Not all of them,
yeah.
I'm aware. But like yours is. Like Esso is.
Sorry. It's just my brain's not remembering different things. Like I love that at one point she uses her family name as like to try and like hide her identity, make herself not like, what's your name? Yelena Liana? Or Liana's on top. I can't remember but she uses the Liana part of it.
Yeah. Oh, wrong one.
And then
I just want to know what the fuck is up with the commander. I'd love to see Nutty again. I love Nutty and her brother. I just have such a love for all of the people in this whole world. Like, I love not everybody is good and not everybody is bad, but it's not necessarily like you are evil. It's just they don't always match, which is life.
I also really liked when Valak went across the border and he was like he gave them false papers just to test what they would do, because that's a really like that I also would be impressed with that guy that was like no, we're not letting you pass, because it's quite obviously Valak. Like there's no like, and he is like almost as high up as you can get. Like that is like your boss's boss.
That is like massive.
And you're turning around and be like, no, you can't get past.
And then he's like, right,
that
okay,
takes some
proper paper.
guts.
Okay, cool. And then he did it again, and every single like group did it properly, and he was like, I appreciate this.
Proud of you.
Proud of you. But then it's like when he gets into
Like,
the cast,
you will get moved up into rank.
and he's like,
Although he's really like, and then when they fail, he's like, you're all getting moved down in rank.
yeah.
I also don't think we're finished with MD, whatever it is that the assassin woman came from.
2.
I don't know if we're finished with that yet. I want to say MD7, but I don't think that's right.
No, MD7 is down at the Snake Forest. 1, 2, and 3 are up by the ice, and 1 is where the commander's from. I'm sure 2 is where Valak's from. No, 3 is where the commander's from because his family were in the mountains, which is how they got the diamonds. 1 is where Cade went last book to go get the storms, and 2 is in the middle, which is where they were. Yes. I also like how he put Honora in jail, and then in the morning she was already having breakfast by the time he got there. Like, I know that I've done this book so out of order. Like, I normally try to write notes, but my brain's just, it's not with it. But the fact that, like, Ari and Janko were sitting there having breakfast with her, and then he was last one in, and everyone's just normal, and he was like, what's going on? Although, to be fair, he did tell her to escape. And then she would get, like, all of her shit back.
Yeah.
I don't think I have anything else to say because my brain is really not working, but also I think we've said most of what I wanted to say. I really want to know what's up with her pregnancy. I can't remember. I love some of the things that we've come up with. I want to know what's going on with, like, the smuggling, and if it's, like, we know it's obviously karate and they've got the hot houses and stuff, but Marin, what are you doing?
Yeah, like, is she
Marin,
like
like,
is she gone to the dark side? Is she in on what's happening? Is she just blindly following orders? Like, what?
has she been under for so long that she doesn't know? Like, what's going on? There's so much stuff I want to know. You know?
Mm-hmm. To be continued in Night City.
We will come up with a date so that we can read Night Study. I think we have done a bit better this time. We have literally read this in the last 3 weeks. I feel so proud of us. We managed to get our score, like our timings, back on track. So in about 3-4 weeks' time, will be somewhere around about the 9th to 16th of December, I would assume. Maybe try do it the week of the 9th if we're both free, so that we then don't have to worry about live shows getting closer to Christmas, just for craziness. Potentially. We will figure that out, and we will put up...
I mean, if it's like the other one, I can read it in like a couple of days.
Yeah. I mean, I read this in 2 halves, but I literally read half of it, stopped a few days because I was doing other stuff, and then read half of it. Like, I love Kristen Atherton, who does the new UK audios for these. I know I said that when I was listening to the first trilogy. And they've just literally this month released like 7, 8, 9. Because I'm really upset. Like, the Glass books have never sold as well for Maria, and because of that, the publishers won't put any money into making audiobooks for them. So they only exist in America.
But the audios.
The audios for the Glass Study set. And they won't redo them, and it's why, like, they won't get like a Fairy Loot set or whatever. Which upsets me because story-wise, it doesn't fucking make sense without, like, as much as you would have loved to have gone 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9 to just like skip Opal, you would be very confused if you found out all the stuff about Opal in this book without having had 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. I've got, 3 sets of the books? 4? 4. Oh, fuck. Yeah, because I can see 3 and you've got a set.
Technically, I've got Vicky's set.
Oh, that's true. No, wait, no, I meant the glass set.
Oh, yeah, I've got your set.
I've only got 2 sets of Dawn, this trilogy. Which is actually quite impressive for me. It just goes downhill the further through the stories that you get because there's less copies of them all. Because she ended up just doing worldwide publications instead of like different versions everywhere. Vicky says, I think Marin is just following orders. Which is fair, because probably there's no way you get to second. Well, like one of the third in commands. Because if they're his right hand and he's his right hand. I just kind of picture of Valak.
Why the commander suddenly turned against Valak like that.
Yeah. I just had a picture of Valak holding on to the commander's right hand with Ari and Janko like holding on to each of his arms and Marin like jumping on his back and just being like, meh! The 3 of us will take
you know Janko would be the one jumping on the back.
Probably. It was a great picture in my head. But with that, unless you have anything else to say, I don't want to cut it off if you do. But if we don't, that's just about an hour. And I'm impressed we got it that far. We will see you in roughly 3 to 4 weeks. Once we figure out a date, I will put the link up into the Discord and onto the Twitter. And I'm excited to see where this goes because I'm literally as blind as a bat as you guys are now.
We've only got 2 books left in the main series because
I know it's crazy. Like I can't believe we're on book 7 and we have
also
1, 2, 3.
Considering I've got like a list of the short stories as well, and one of them was called Diaper Study, I thought that she might be pregnant.
Did you look ahead?
No, you put them in my series tracker.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
I don't remember doing that.
You put all the short stories into my series tracker in order of where they fit in between the books before Chronicles came out.
So they can't all
and
be
there was
there.
one called Diamond. Like there's one called Diamond Study, and in my brain that's I'm getting engaged. And I've had this conversation with you before. I remember it.
I cannot, but my brain is fucked. So this is not a shock. I will try to figure out where the rest of them go, but you'll have the Chronicles now, so you can figure that part out. Because it comes like there's literally a list at the start that tells you like where they would fall chronologically. And if I remember right, they are printed chronologically.
Yeah, they should be. I would think so.
I'm pretty sure they are.
Sensible.
I'm sure we said we were going to do Night, Dawn, then Chronicles, then the last trilogy. I'm pretty sure.
I think you're right. Because I really want to read Chronicles, but I need to wait and finish the series. But because Chronicles was written before the others, it's safe to read, and also the third trilogy goes back.
Yeah. So if we do Chronicles after Dawn Study, and then finish up with the last trilogy, because that way you'll have all of the background knowledge that she's put into the universe before you read them, because that's the order that she wrote them. Considering she's only she's literally signing and sending out the Study of Fire at the minute.
Yeah, I mean, I remember us saying about maybe we could read fire, poison, magic, fire, but then we realized the book wouldn't even be out.
Yeah, because we didn't have magic or fire. I think magic came out I think I got it about 2 months after we started or something. So like I maybe would have had it just in time, but it wasn't like everybody wouldn't have it. But this way, at least people have time to get it, and they're very pretty. And they come from Amazon direct from Maria, like her publishers. Just she prints them as they go. So I know we don't necessarily.
That are getting burned into my face.
Mm-hmm.
Can you see the holes that are starting to burn into my face?
8:30, isn't it? I can tell it's biscuit time. I had that yesterday at 5:00 when I was trying to ignore the cats.
Tell her.
Work.
Tell Mummy. It's funny, he's staring a hole at my head. Anyway, we're finishing up, so.
Right. Thank you, Vicky, for joining us. Thank you to anybody else who watched, because there was a few people. I just don't know who they were. And we will see you in a few weeks with the live show for Night Study. But until then, bye.